Welcome back. Let's now look at managing ads, okay, advertisement. Now we have direct ads and we have ads by third party, which could be Google or whatever, Google AdSense or whatever third party advertisement platform we'll be using. So basically, when we're using third party, we manage the third party ads from the platform. So say we are using Google AdSense, we manage AdSense ads from Google AdSense portal, okay, or platform. All right. So we don't have business training on that. What we want to look at is direct ads, okay, the one that BOX18 Africa are going to be putting or placing on their website. Now, to manage direct ad, simply go to BOX18 direct ad under the menu, get BOX18 direct ad and click on it. Okay, so we have where you can view all the direct ads or where you can add new direct ad. So this is our existing direct ad. Okay, so we have multiple ad zones. Now, if you want to update an existing ad, you just need to click on it directly or use the edit button. Okay, however, let's look at adding new direct ad first. Okay, so let's look at, we want to add a new direct ad. So you click on add new direct ad and then you land on this page where you then need to fill your details. All right, so first thing, we want to enter the title. Oh, what is the title of my ad? Use a title that is recognizable, something that resonates well with the advertisement you want to place. So you can easily remember, oh, this, when you see the name, you know that this ad is so ad. Okay? Don't use name that you will not be able to even remember that, oh, this is for this. So for instance, I may want to play this ad in leaderboard ad zone. Okay, so I believe you understand what leaderboard zone is. So on our website, okay, on our website, in every pages, the leaderboard ad zone is at the top. Is the zone at the top of the website after the header, immediately after the header. So it's this zone between this header, okay, the header and the hero section. Here, this zone, this line, I'm trying to avoid this part because once I go there, this line, or from here, this place, this area, okay, this is our ad zone, the ad zone, okay, so that is leaderboard ad zone. All right, so now I want to place an ad there. So I want to use the title. I want to say, give the title leaderboard. All right, or I may want to say leaderboard and then I put the name of the ad. Let's say that ad is for a cream brand and the name of the cream brand, is Nivea. You can just say leaderboard Nivea. You can do other things. You may want to even include the date in the title, so you know the date, although you can always see the date. Anything that you use to remember that this particular ad is this ad, that is what you want to use in your title. You don't want to use a title that is so obscure, okay, or not telling you exactly what the ad is all about. Then we want to enter the advertisement name, the name. So the name and title are similar, you can even use the same thing. Okay, so just enter any name you like to use. All right, for me, I will just give them the same, the title and the name. I'll just make them the same. All right, what is important is that you're able to recognize the ad by the name or by the title. That is what is important. So, but it is more important to set that in the title, because the title is what will appear in all ads. So it's easy for you to know the ad to edit. When I want to edit a particular ad, I'm able to recognize them by the name. That is why, by the title, sorry. That is why you want to be ensure that you use a very recognizable title. Okay. All right. You select the zone. After having entered the title, the name, you need to select the zone, add zone where you want it to appear. Now, right now we have about 7 different ad zones. Okay, you can see that these are all the ad zones we have. So I will explain what each ad zone, where each ad zone will appear. Okay. Now for leaderboard, I already explained that. Then article sidebar, this is the ad zone. Okay, on a single article page. We know our single article page have, let's say this is an article. Okay, we have a right sidebar. This is the right sidebar of our single article page. Okay, it's the right sidebar. Now that at the article sidebar ad zone is here. Okay, so when I put a feature an ad under that this single article sidebar ad zone, it will appear here. Okay, here, directly under here. All right, appear here, and it will stay fixed. But the right word is not fixed now, it's actually sticky. Okay, so as you're scrolling this page, it will still be appear, it will still be here. You always see it. You will just keep scrolling, it will be sticky until that's until you reach here, then it will disappear. So that's why but now I want to show us what the image will look like. So for single the article sidebar, okay, ad zone, this is what the image will look like. You see this image, something like this. Okay, that is the image dimension. Have image like this, such is a perfect fit, okay, for the article sidebar ad zone. All right, we can have square image as well, it's also fine. Okay, but this is a perfect fit image, as the portrait image like this, long like this. All right, now looking at other ad zones. So another one we have here is in content. So this one is the ad that appear inside the content of the single article page. So that is, this is the sidebar inside this single article page. This is sidebar. Okay, so it's a right sidebar, but it's a sidebar, and this is the content. All right, this left column is the content. Now in content simply means in between, inside the in between the content. Okay, so as you're scrolling, or as a user is reading the article, you come across the ad. So the ad that appear in this inside the content, that is the in content. And the content we are talking about is single article content. Okay, to appear in between, inside the content, that is in content ad zone. All right, and a good image to use for it, something like this. Okay, landscape image is fine. Square image is fine as well. Okay, so remember, I can use landscape image there, I can use square image. Image like this kind of portrait image is not a good fit. It's too long. We don't want to put such image there, but we can have something like landscape, even longer than this, or square. These are fine. In fact, using our discretion, we know image that will fit when somebody is reading, scrolling this article, image that will not be too, disturbing. That is what we want to have there. All right. Another one here on our list is footer strip. So the footer strip, just like the letterboard, but this time around is on the footer zone. So just before the footer, this place just before the footer, that is the footer strip, okay, add zone here. So when I activate that, the ad that I put will appear here. So we want to use the same image format we use for our letterboard, okay. So this is a good fit of the kind of image we should have. Something like this, long, okay, something like this. So these are, we want something short and long, okay. So the length should be far longer than the width or breadth. So very important, we use ad that will not disturb the user, okay. So the image or the creative should be something like this. All right, I hope you can see this self. Let me show us where by clicking on edit image. Okay, so something like this. This is what the ad creative should look like on the letterboard, on the footer strip, okay. Even in content could be like this, okay. It could be square, but remember, I shouldn't disturb. For all ad zones, to be something that don't disturb the user. Okay, so I know I'm showing us this ad zone, where what is the interpretation of each ad zone, so that we can know, okay, when we are uploading a particular ad under a particular ad zone, we know that the image that will be of good fit, okay, the image dimension now that will fit that ad zone properly. All right, another ad zone here is between section, okay, and a specified home page. So between the section of a home page, simply on the home page, okay, in between a section. So I want to show us that particular section. So just after the culture, okay, after the culture, so we have after the culture just here, okay. This is the ad zone of in between. So just know that it's an ad that appear in between the section of a home page, okay, before the root after culture, just here. So we also want to use an ad that is long, just like the one we use in the footer strip, the one we use in the leaderboard. That kind of image is what we want to still have there. So something long, okay. Square can still work, but the good fit is something long. It works for both desktop and mobile devices, both large and small screen, okay. Another we want to look at is podcast grid media, okay. So this is the podcast. Inside our podcast media page, you can see media page. In the inside during as you're scrolling the podcast, you come across an ad. So that is the ad zone. Now let's look at it. So we have the media, okay, media page. Now this is the podcast ads, okay. So as you're scrolling, when you activate a podcast ad, okay, which we already have one, already. Now this is the ad. Okay, you see the ad. So as you're scrolling the podcast, you come across, as a user is, scrolling the podcast page, just looking at viewing the podcast, you come across an ad when you upload an ad there. So a good example or good image dimension for the podcast ad zone is the square image like this. This one is not even square, but something similar to square image, portrait image, you know, image that will fit this section well. You know, that is what we want to have. All right. So supporter will take note of that. Okay. So this is the ad zone for podcast. Now another one is business or sports column, the home page as well. Now when we go to the home page, we see under business of sports, all right, we can have an ad appear here. So for on desktop devices, when there is a direct ad activated on this for this business or sports, in this business or sports section, the ad will appear here. Okay, where we previously have blank space. So the ad will appear here, be featured here, this zone. So we can have a long image, can have a square image as well. So it means that image such as this, okay, or this one, or this is a good fit, okay, for that ad zone. All right, it's a good fit. So on desktop, remember last screen to appear here, or mobile device to appear at the bottom of the, what's the bottom? After this four posts, in the business or sports section, we'll come across an ad when an ad is being activated here. So these are optional. You activate or place ad in any of the ad zone that you want. Okay, sometimes what will help you determine the position where to place it is even the ad dimension, the client wants. Okay, so it could be that it's a client that wants an ad, wants to place an ad on your website for them. The image they provide, and say, okay, this image will fit so ad zone well. You put it there. Sometimes the client can tell you where they want it to be. They want it on your home page. They want, where they tell you. That will also help you determine. Well, these are the options we have. So it's optional that you place an ad here. So we should take note that when we activate an ad under the business or sports section, it appear here, and automatically it means that this post will have to go. So instead of having 6 posts, what we'll have is 4 and then 1 here. This one will be sticky. So it's something that even as you scroll down this section, it keep seeing it until you leave that section. Okay. So even on mobile, you see 4 and then the ad. Okay. So more like the ad is replacing 2 images. But when there is no ad activated, automatically post fill that space. So if you want post should always fill this slot, then you don't want to activate any ad under the business or sport ad zone. Same applies to media page. Okay, so when we have, if you don't want ad to appear here, then no need to activate ad under the media ad zone. All right, now the same way that of homepage work is the same way the one we look at last in the homepage under the business and sports section. the ad in the podcast section works similarly. All right. So what this means is when we activate an ad under the podcast ad zone, that ad will take a slot of, an empty space now, the slot podcast. But this time it is not going to take one podcast. So if we have 10 podcasts, all 10 will still appear, but it's just taking a space. It will just appear in between them. Okay. So it's not replacing any podcast. Okay. However, it's going to appear in between the podcast, just as it's appearing on in between, business or sports posts. So we should take note of that. All right. And that is the end for the ad zones. So I believe I've explained all the ad zones that we have, and we now understood all of them. So when we want to place an ad, we have to select the ad zone. We already have a clue of, okay, this is where I want this ad to appear, and then you select that ad zone. Okay. So once you select the ad zone, the next thing is you want to select the creative type. So is this ad creative? Is it an image or raw HTML? We already know what image is, so we are going to look at raw HTML. So if it's an image, automatically it will give you a field where you can upload the particular image. However, if it's a raw HTML, it will then give you the field where you can upload or enter the HTML. So this time around, not image. All right. So when you select raw HTML, it will ask you, okay, enter the HTML code here. All right. Now there is a disclaimer or an important notice at the top. You can see that they say this code will render exactly as entered, okay, including scripts. Now it could be an ad, it could be a script, it could be raw HTML code or whatever. This code will render just what you enter here is what will be rendered. So we know that a code could be malicious. So we want to make sure that the code or script we enter here is something that you trust, something that is malicious free. Okay. Clean code. So you want to vet that first. You want to scan the code, vet that this code is virus free, before you upload here. Now we've added security, after to secure this part, which is this raw HTML rendering. Try to secure it as much as possible. But we know that it cannot be 100% secure. Okay, so we need to do our part by vetting that the script we are uploading here is not malicious. Okay, so it's quite important that we note that. So that's why we say you should only paste code from trusted ad network or partners you are verified. Verify it first before using here. All right. So when we enter in HTML code or script here, you will need to click on this. I confirm this code is for trusted verified source before you can publish. If you didn't click on it, you won't be able to publish. Okay. When you try publishing, you click on publish, it will tell you to confirm. You will have to confirm. And before confirming, ensure you vetted. Don't just say I have confirmed when you've not even confirmed. Okay? You may end up making the website vulnerable, okay, or attacked. if you didn't verify that the script you're uploading is free from any malicious content. All right. They haven't selected your ad creative type. Okay, say it's an image. You upload the image. Then the next thing is to select the target URL. Okay, target URL. So for ad creative, we are not going to be entering any URL because the URL will be inside the script directly. Okay, that script already contains the URL where it will go head to. The script contains everything, so you will not be entering any URL for that. But if it's an image, you are going to need to enter the URL. So it means that where if somebody should click on the ad, this particular ad that you're adding, where should you take the person to? That is what this target URL is all about. Okay, so it is a cream ad for Nivea, and you want to take them on their website. They have a particular landing page. They'll give you the link. That link is what you want to put in. So sometimes this direct ad could be BOX18 Africa ad. Say BOX18 have something they are doing. Okay, they want to advertise on their website. They can place them under direct ad as well. Okay. Then the next, you want to select the date that this ad is starting. Okay, so I might want to publish it today, but I want this ad to start running from say September. We're in August right now. Okay, so the time this video is being made, August 2026. I may want it to start September 1st. So I will enter September 1st date here. Okay, and then I want it to end so date. So the date that we select, the start and end date, is when this ad will appear. Even if I publish it now, until that date before it will start running. And then once the end date expires, automatically that ad no longer appear on that ad zone. That is what the start and end date does. So you can leave it blank. Once you leave it blank, it simply means that there is no restriction. Okay? It's immediately I publish it, it appeared on that page or that ad zone rather. And it doesn't end until you take it down. So you can unpublish it from here. So under this active, if I check this box, the active box, it means that I want that ad to be active. Okay. If I uncheck it, it means that I don't want the ad to be active. So a way to publish and unpublish an ad is using this checkbox. So if the ad is active and running, and then I don't want it to run any longer, okay, I'll just come here and deactivate it. Once I uncheck it, I'll have to update. Remember, you have to always update when you make any change. Very important. I'll click on publish. So the word here is publish, but take note, this publish simply means save. All right, it simply means save. So whether you're publishing it correctly or even taking it down, because now I want to just deactivate it, it's still the word is still publish. So that word should not confuse you. Simply means save. All right. So priority here is the order. Okay. Now an ad, only one ad. That's what I mean by an ad. Only one ad can take up an ad zone. So say for the leaderboard, or okay, we already have one here on this podcast page. Okay, this is an ad zone, podcast ad zone. Only one ad can appear here. What this means is if I have two ads that I activate under this ad zone, all right, only one will appear. Now, what will determine the one that will appear is this priority, okay, this priority number. Now, as stated here, higher number wins where multiple active ads compete for the same ad zone. So it means that this particular ad I'm adding, if I want it to win, okay, take up or override the previous ad, say I have a previous ad on that ad zone and then I want to upload a new one without deactivating the previous one. Remember, I can deactivate that previous one by going to by editing it. Okay, when I try updating it, I will then uncheck this because it's going to be active already. So I'll uncheck it and then publish, then save. I can take that one down, okay, by deactivating it. However, if I don't want to do that, I know that there's only one, okay, and the priority there is 0 because by default it's 0. And then I want to upload another one quickly. I can just change this priority number here to 1. Since it's higher, this ad will take, higher priority. It will prioritize. It simply means it's going to override that previous ad that we have there. Okay? So if I already have some ads running and the highest number was 2, I can put this priority number, I can set it as 3, 4, 5. Once it's higher, it will override other ones. So to take up that ad zone, okay, this ad will appear. That is what it means. All right. So having taken note of that, let's now look at updating a previous ad. Now to update a previous ad, what we want to do is simply click on it. All right. Click on it. And then make any changes you may want to make. Notice that I'm using the same title, you see. And this ad is this podcast ad that we have running that we saw on our media page. That is this ad here. You see, I'm using the title, our name as podcast to know that okay, it's a podcast ad. Now you don't want to use only podcast. I'm using that name because I only have one. In the future, you may want to have other podcasts, and you don't want to be deleting podcasts just to replace another one. No, you don't want to do, okay, I have an existing podcast before running, okay, maybe you've deactivated itself, and now I want to publish another ad under that same podcast zone. You don't want to always be deleting them, because of metrics. You already have some metrics or analytics for that ad. You can always view them, but when you delete it, you will no longer be able to view the analytics. So it will be bad to delete ad that you've run. Okay, so you don't need to delete them. All you need to do is use name. I can name some podcast 1, another one 2. Okay, or better still, can add the name of the company that is running it. Okay, this one is for BOX18. Put BOX18 there. Oh, this is Nivea. Oh, this is Forum. This is for social company. Put it there. So I only stress more on naming convention. Now, say I want to change the advertisement name. I change it. Say it's a creative I want to change. I'll go here under upload or change image. Click on it. Select the image I want to change. Say I want to now switch this from image to raw HTML. I will do that. Say I want to change the target URL. Anything you want to change, make your changes and update. Very important. Make change, update. All right. Now, let's look at ad analytics, the analytics that show up for the different ads that you run. So when you want to view analytics of a particular ad, you still click on the ad, Okay, in the first section is where you can update the ad. Below it, you have ad performance. So you have option to move the ad performance, okay, up or down. So you can order it. Say I want it so that when I click on a particular, when I view ad, okay, when I view any ad, I want ad performance to be at the top. I'll just order it by clicking up. See where I click up, okay? When I click up, it goes up. You see that? Okay. Now, now I move it here. Let me take it here. You see. So clicking up takes it up. If I want this to go up, I click here up. Clicking down takes it down. As simple as that. Alright. So you order it as you want. But right now the order we have is the first section is for updating that ad, while at the bottom, you see the ad performance, how the ad is performing. Okay, so how the ad is performing. So I will refresh this page because when this ad was moved to this right sidebar, the chart shrank. Okay, so I want to refresh. All right, you see now. I don't need to explain what this analytics means. Impression, the clicks. Well, we should know what that means. Okay, so it's telling you your total. You can see the total impression. You can see the total clicks. You can see the click through rate. You could see average daily impression. You could see um days are active or remaining. So the impression is more like the number of views. Number of views and click is not the same. So click is until somebody clicks on it before it will register as click. Okay. So an ad could be viewed 1 million times without a single click. Days or time remaining depending on whether you selected a start and ending date. So it will tell you, okay, this ad is still remaining 2 days to end. It has been active for 60 days. So this will tell you, oh, this is how long it has been active, it is, and then how long is remaining. And this one shows you the best performing day. So this is the chart for you can use to read, okay, you can interpret what is going on using the chart. And then this is the history, okay? But it's the change log for HTML creatives. The raw HTML creative, not image, not image ad. Okay, so this one will show you the change logs. That is it. And that will be the end of direct ad. Okay, since I have okay, so that will be the end of direct ad management. Thank you for your time.